Hello and welcome back to Super Smash or Pass. Today, we're going to be going over the protagonist of Dragon Quest III, Erdrick.
Colors weave into a spire of flame. Distant sparks call to a past still unnamed. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Search your soul and reawaken the undying light.
Now, before we begin the episode, there are some things I should address. First off, this video is not just late, it's very late, and on top of that, it's been a while since I've been doing Super Smash or Pass. That's because of the whole break and whatnot, and there's a video that you can go watch if you want to know more about that and why that was happening. But also on top of that, I have visitors coming in, actually today, the day I'm filming this, because at this point it's Tuesday, because it's 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. So I have stuff I need to do, and I can't be filming while they're here because I just don't have the space. So I have to film all the videos for the time they are here today at 1 a.m. No one ever accused me of making good life choices. That is why there was such a delay in both today's episode of Super Smash or Pass, as well as Monday's episode of Let's Talk About Things. Hopefully the delays will not continue, but I unfortunately cannot promise that because I will only be able to edit sporadically throughout the week, but I'm going to try to get everything uploaded on time aside from these two episodes. Zooming back into the actual character, Erdrick first premiered in Dragon Quest III. Like I said, he's the protagonist character of that, and he also goes by Roto or Loto in Japan sometimes. This is a character who was very influential in Dragon Quest. The first 3 Dragon Quest games are really like about Erdrick and his descendants, but you only actually play as them in the third one. Erdrick also is like just some name that's referenced throughout the series. He's a pretty big deal and like the head Dragon Quest character. Think of him as like Red from Pokemon, you know what I mean? You don't play as him in every single game, but he's like the guy that everybody knows. So Dragon Quest first released on the NES in 1991 and was later ported to the Super Nintendo in 1996, only in Japan. It then got another port on the Game Boy Color in 2000 and was on the Wii as well in 2011. Now, Erdrick being the protagonist of an RPG, he really has a lot he can do, especially since he's the main protagonist. And we get this a lot with characters like, Ness or Isaac. These characters have a great moveset potential, and there's just a lot you can do with the character. Erdrick specifically has so much variety in his moveset, because the character not only uses a sword, but he also uses a whip, and a boomerang, and daggers, and a bunch of other weapons, as well as loads of magical spells. So there is just, you could do whatever you want with this character, and it's not going to be an issue. So for that reason, Erdrick is probably one of the most versatile characters we've ever talked about here, even surpassing Isaac. Erdrick's potential diversity of his moveset will really set him apart from anyone in the Smash roster. Think about Link, because Link can also use bombs and arrows, but even more because he'd basically be a cross between Link, Simon Belmont, and Robin. And that seems like a really interesting character and a really fun one to play. Now, Dragon Quest is one of the most popular gaming franchises that exist over in Japan. It never really got its footing here in the US or, everywhere else in the world, but in Japan it is huge. It's like Pokemon big during, Pokemania. And I think that Smash Bros. Could be a really good opportunity for Square Enix to put this character in and give him the Fire Emblem treatment, getting people interested in this character and wanting to play the original games. Now, you could optimize this a little bit more than you could with Fire Emblem because, of course, Marth's game wasn't out here. You did have Roy's game that came out. It was the first one released in the States, so you had that character instantaneously. So they have to time it right with some sort of, Dragon Quest III, DLC or something, or add the protagonist of the newest Dragon Quest game that'll be available here in the US, which there are rumors that they're doing that anyway, so we'll get to that in a little bit. The only real obstacle I can see within Erdrick's potential here is Square Enix themselves. Now, Square Enix has really gone full force with the Switch. We're seeing that there's going to be tons of Final Fantasy ports coming this year, as well as a bunch of Dragon Quest games and even stuff like Octopath Traveler. We also know that Square Enix was one of the most difficult companies to negotiate with for Sakurai and Nintendo. In fact, it shows within the game itself. Final Fantasy still only has one song, and if you even look at the spirit for Cloud and his Advent Children design, they use the Smash Brothers artwork, and I think they're the only characters in the entire game that do that. So Square Enix really seems to be withholding on the Smash team with putting stuff in there, and we almost didn't even get Cloud in this game, so it might seem a little bit fishy to try to sneak in a second Square Enix rep. Now, that all being said, I would like to talk about some rumors and leaks, but I'm going to call them rumors because it's what they are. Leaker Vergaben has talked for a while now about a potential Square Enix rep being released. And one of the main names that he's kind of said now, that before he tried to keep it a secret because there was potential firings that could happen because of this information, and I think firings actually did occur because this information got out, but he mentioned that Erdrick was one of the names he had heard, as well as Luminari, which is the main protagonist of Dragon Quest. I want to say 8, but don't hold me to that. So those are names that he's heard, as well as data miners have found code names for 3 DLC fighters in the most recent patch of Super Smash Bros. The first one is Paku, which means piranha plant. It's his Japanese name. The second one is Jack, which most people believe at this point is Joker, because Jack Frost is the kind of like the mascot of the Shin Megami Tensei Persona series. So Jack Frost instead of Joker. And the last one is Brave, and people right now are assuming that Brave is pointing towards Erdrick, although it is contested. If you want more information about that, I'm going to link below to a Papa Genos video. It's going to go really in-depth into that, and you'll get all the information you need. On top of that, another leaker who presumably leaked the Joker information. Now, it's in different posts, so I'm not trusting 100% that it's coming from the same person, but supposedly they also mentioned Erdrick, and it seems like it's probably them, but you know, coupled with the data mine information, it seems like it's probably what it is. And that leaker also backs Vergaben in saying that it's going to be Erdrick and Luminari as an alternate costume. Again, I'll be linking to 2 different sources here, Papa Genos once again, and GameXplain in the description below, so you can get more information on that rumor, because I'm not the person that's going to cover it well. I think they did a wonderful job, so I'll link out to them so you guys can get that information if you choose to do so. Now, with that information, of course, hype responsibly. I am not going to say that these are confirmed things or anything like that. Far from it. The data mine is the thing, right? Brave is in there, but Brave could really be anybody. It's just a code name. So if you're looking for this character, or you think that all hope is gone because you wanted a different character, I wouldn't go that far. Remember the Grinch leak and how that went down. Hype responsibly, and don't get too riled up about rumors and data leaks. Erdrick has an amazing moveset potential. He has a company that, while still a little belligerent, is working with Nintendo and supporting the Switch. He's from a series that is a nationwide phenomenon in Nintendo's home country of Japan, and needs a little bit of help outside in the international markets. Something we've seen a previous Smash Bros. Fighter do with Marvin Roy from the Fire Emblem series. All of this leads to amazing opportunity to add Erdrick or a different Dragon Quest protagonist to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and for that reason I have to give this character the verdict of Now, this is my fighter ticket, and I'm going to give Erdrick a ticket, and I'm actually going to be replacing Chrono with Erdrick. That Square Enix spot has kind of been constantly battled out, and previously it belonged to Sora, and we switched it out for Chrono Trigger, and now I think I'm going to give it to Erdrick from Dragon Quest, who probably deserved it from the beginning anyways, and is probably the most likely of the 3, but I do think that should go to Erdrick instead of Chrono. And as always, remember to vote on our polls on Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube, and within the comment section on whether or not you think Erdrick should be included in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Give your own verdicts, give your own reasons, do whatever you want. I should also mention briefly before we end that in the Town Hall video, I said I think it'd be fun to open a Discord. I have done so. Discord now exists. If you would like to join that Discord and just talk about Smash Brothers and other video game stuff and movie stuff and whatnot, just hang out. It is available on my channel. If you go to the banner, there will be a link. It is also the first link in the social media description, in the description stuff below. So if you'd like to join that, there's a link to join it, and hope to see you guys there. Alright folks, that's all for today's episode of Super Smash Pass. I will see you on tomorrow, probably at this point, because it's probably going to go up on Tuesday. So I'll see you on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever at this point, because what even is a schedule? It's 2019 and we're already this far out. This is going well. See you guys next time.